Okay, here's the box, still sealed up. I have a couple of rags to wipe it down with. I have a soft mallet to whack the wedge to open it up. I'm not going to fully break it down. I will now reach over here and grab my handy dandy pocket knife, and let's open this up and see what we got. So it's UPS'd, shipped in this plain box to you to not attract a lot of attention. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some staples because I can feel some resistance right there. Yep, 2 staples. Open up the end, just like that. And now we're going to bend them staples up because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to get fingers in it. There we go. Slide out the box. Now I have some shipping information and a couple of fire starting additions from the local newspaper up there. Okay. I'll look at them in my leisure a little bit later. And the envelope has your shipping and return. So if something's wrong, you can ship it back. Okay, there's my proof of purchase. And there's my order form, an additional order form, in case you need to return or something like that. And a handy little envelope, which I will reuse for mailing something else later on. Recycle. Now, getting down to the important stuff. Box has a little bit of a dinged up corner. Should not be a problem because they do pad them very well. And it says 1851 Navy Yank London, caliber 36 steel frame, brass backstrap and trigger guard. I ordered a square back, so let's make sure that's what we've gotten. Slide it out. And we have an additional little bitty load data. Safety and loading recommendations. Use black powder only warning. And also it has loading for replica rifles, single shot pistols, loading for revolvers, 36, 18 grains. Of course, these were duplicating what was the original military load of the day. Alright, we will look at that a little more in depth a little bit later on. Here on the top we have the standard Pieta breakdown that will show you. This is actually pretty handy, guys, because not only does it talk about basic safety concerns, and for those that don't have a lot of familiarity with cap and bolt revolvers, it is very handy, but it also talks about the various models, the safety pins, and etc., safety procedures, and like I was just there a minute ago, it has complete breakdowns for like the Patterson 1860 Army. It shows the breakdown and what that particular part is called, so if something breaks on you later on, you can call them up and be able to say it's that thing, and you've got a number. Okay, now wrapped up in plastic, it is a square back, foam to protect, a Pieta Brotherhood card to go on the back of the vehicle, rubber band, and wrap like that. Grabbing my wiping rag because they are coated in oil to make sure that they do not rust before they get to them. And we have a tag on here with the correct information for the barcode for them to scan it at the factory. Alright. Start by wiping off the excess of it. Okay. Wipe down the wood. Okay, now this is not the most expensive Pieta they make. This is one of the cheaper, more budget ones. But what I was really going for was that square back trigger guard. I really like it. The grip is narrow, but it is more like the Colt. Actually, it flares at the bottom, front to back, and it feels good in my hand. I have one of the Colt replicas, and the grip is not shaped correctly. The Pieta is actually better. In fact, here is my actual Colt. This is one of the reissue Colts. I think you can see the signature series right there. And that's it. The grip is shaped completely wrong compared to what the Pieta is. The Pieta is actually correct. It's bigger on the outside to fit the palm of the hand, and this one is actually wrong. It's symmetrical and it feels way too small to my hand. Okay. Now let's see how well this works. First, we're going to cock it just randomly all the way back. It does lock up. Let the hammer down. Come back to half cock. It does rotate properly. Okay, full cock. It does lock in and lock back up. Now we're going to cock it very fast. And it did lock up perfectly, so it is timed that way. That means the hand is timed correctly to bring the cylinder up and for the locking bolt to lock in. Now we're going to cock it extremely slowly. Okay, a little rougher on that end, but it locked up solid. So it is properly timed. The loading lever is not binding up. I don't see any major scratches, dings. Looking at the muzzle, it is not exactly symmetrical, but it is a lot better than a lot of them I've seen in the past that were way off. This one is actually fairly close, but I can see that it's a little bit low on this side and high on that, but I can true that up a little later on. The wood feels a little bit proud right here at the edge. You can feel it. That's okay. I like that. It means I get to fit it. That means I got just a little extra wood all the way around. I like that, being able to fit that a little bit tighter. The finishes on the grip are more than adequate. They're pretty, but to me they've always looked really fake. And so I always redo the finish on my grips and refit it. Wood's a little proud right here on the edge where it joins the frame. I will take care of that. But all in all, very good start. Now, can I push the wedge out with just my thumbs? Pushing down? No. Okay, it's a good tight wedge. Something else I want to do. Grab it and twist. It's got a too short an arbor. No, that's rock solid. It doesn't twist left to right or forward to back. And if the arbor was too short, you'd feel a little click, 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 click. This isn't. It's got a good fit and good finish to it. Alright, looking at the clearance between the face of the cylinder and the forcing cone. Very, very little. I can see just a fine little strip of daylight in there, but not much. That's very good. I have seen that had gaps. You could drop a nickel in there. So that's very nice. It's a very nice engraved cylinder. And it says patent number on it. Let me get my good reading glass and I'll read you what it says on the cylinder. Saying if it's got the correct terminology on the cylinder. Okay, the cylinder says, engraved by W.L. Ormsby, New York. That's a very nice touch. It has up here, engaged 16 May 1843 for the Mexican Navy. The proof marks are small and very well done. Ain't some big bohunking proof mark in the way. The only thing that I do not like is the way that Pieta stamps the name into the side of the barrel right here. And black powder only on that side. We're going to eliminate that. I would prefer them to stamp them, honestly, under here. Now under here we have a serial number. And that serial number is actually an assembly number and is different from the actual firearm number. The frame has a number, and that's a different number. But all in all, the brass isn't scratched up or anything. The brass up here where it joins the frame, where it rolls up, a little bit proud. Good. I like it when it's a little proud. When it's recessed, makes it tougher. If it's a little proud, I can stone it into being exact. I like it to be like a bar of soap. And right there, that is very good fit. From frame to grip, coming down onto the trigger guard. Frame to trigger guard, no visible feeling seam at all. They really got that right. That is very good quality right there. The quality and how well they have done it over the years has been a real improvement, and the engraving on the cylinder is much better done than it has been in the past. Okay, we're going to tap out that. Okay, I finally got the wedge free. That wedge was, I mean, in there. It was not too tight, the wedge itself, but the actual little, you know, where the spring comes up was locked in place so solidly I couldn't get the thing to come loose. Alright, now I'm going to put it half cock, rotate the cylinder onto the, between two cylinders, and use the rammer to force the barrel off. Very well fitted, nice and tight. And if you will notice, the end of the rammer has been, you know, circled to handle round ball, and probably even a little bit of some of the broader conicals would probably fit on that. Now looking down the barrel at the rifling, very clean. I don't see any pits, no big burrs or anything, which would indicate a problem. I like the fact the loading lever, when it comes up, it's just a grunt too long, which is as it should be, so that you have to kind of lock it in place. Lift up the thing and then press, and it goes click. That's not going to come loose under recoil. Some of them are, there's too big a gap right here, and this one fits perfectly. Very impressed with it thus far. Alright, first thing, there is a burr right here where the barrel goes in, the arbor goes into the barrel. That has got a burr on it. I think that's one thing that was holding this up. Now, feeling of it, yeah, it's nice and sharp on the edges. I'll have to take care of that. And sliding off the, woo, okay. Everything looks good. However, right here inside the lip of the frame, there's a raised burr that full length on both sides. That should have been taken off. I'm glad it's not scratching the cylinder, but that's sharp enough to cut you right there. Now, color case, very prevalent throughout it. The, for lack of a better term, the ejector slot right here for where the spent cap should come out and fall out is very well defined, nice and broad. Some of the earlier ones was not, but that burr right there, that's that. I think you can hear it. Yeah, that's got to be touched. But that's the first and only real problem I've seen. You know, minor little things, little deburring here or there. But all in all, I'm very impressed with it thus far. The fitting, the finish, the cylinder is not scarred up all the way around from improperly fitted. Seems it's got the safety pins all the way around. Now, my primary question I've been having with every replica I've got since COVID has been the cones, or sometimes called the nipples, having too big a hole in them. And I'm looking through these and can clearly see daylight through all of them, except for this one. So I'll have to check that one. But we shall see how they fire. If they're too big an opening inside, orifice inside of that nipple, what happens is too much back pressure comes back, and when it does, it actually hits and will bring the hammer back like that. And then the cap fragments and all go around this curve and go down into the actual action. You got instant guaranteed cap jam. In fact, when I got my Pocket Navy, which is a Uberti, whenever I fired it with just 10 grains, the caps were not just cracked, pulverized, and shrapnel was blown all the way down into the action. I did not get but 2 shots, and then I could not clear it. I had to fully dismantle the gun because there were cap fragments down in here wedged between the trigger and the bolt, where it blew it all the way back down in there because the opening in the nipples was simply too large. So when we get to the getting it ready to take to the range, we will test that and see how well it is. But thus far, we're really good. Okay, that's it for the unboxing.